Christina. Welcome to my kitchen. You know, I get this question a lot. People ask, where do your inspiration for your recipes come from for your channel? Well, they come from various sources. My personal cookbook, which is literally thousands of recipes, family recipes that have been passed down to me that I treasure and love to share with you. But my most favorite recipes to share are commercial recipes from restaurants that I personally worked at many years ago. Today's recipe is one of those. I am making jumbo cinnamon rolls, and they're not complicated. Take a little time to make, but worth it. Let's get started and make them today.
Today I've scaled down my commercial recipe for home baking. These jumbo cinnamon rolls turn out incredibly fluffy, irresistibly delicious, and are truly impressive to make. All right, let's start things off with the dry ingredients. We'll need 305 grams of unbleached bread flour, or about 2 cups if you're skipping the kitchen scale today. I always seem to scoop a little too much at first, so I'm going to remove the extra. Once you've got it measured, toss it into a bigger bowl. You'll also want to measure out 305 grams of unbleached all-purpose flour. That's about another 2 cups, and add that right into the same bowl. I've got 50 grams of granulated sugar measured out, but we're not using it all just yet. I'm taking out about 25%, which is about 12.5 grams. So set aside the 12.5 grams for later, and the 37.5 grams goes right into the big bowl. Next, add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. Give all the dry ingredients a quick mix. Measure out 235 grams of whole milk, which is about 1 cup. Go ahead and warm it up in the microwave for a few seconds to around 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Just nice and cozy, but not hot. Next, sprinkle in 2 packets of dry yeast. If you're weighing it out, that's about 14 grams in total. Add the sugar we set aside earlier. Give everything a quick stir to combine. Then let it sit for about 5 minutes so the yeast can wake up and get nice and bubbly. Now grab your stick of butter and get ready to melt it in the microwave. I like to pop the wrapper I just removed right on top while it melts. It helps keep any splatters from making a mess on the inside of my microwave. Crack open your 2 eggs and give them a quick whisk, just enough to break them up and get them nicely mixed. To the flour mixture you measured out earlier, pour in the bubbly yeast. Then the melted butter and the whisked eggs. Using your dough hook, let your mixer do the heavy work. Knead until the dough turns smooth and stretchy. Once the dough looks soft and springy, grab your scraper and carefully push down on the sides of the bowl just to gather everything back to the bottom. Once it starts pulling away cleanly from the sides of the bowl, it's ready. Depending on how powerful your mixer is, this can take anywhere from 7 to 15 minutes, so just keep an eye on it. Go ahead and remove the dough from the hook. Next, cover the bowl with plastic wrap. Set it aside in a warm, cozy spot and let it rise until it doubles in size. About an hour and a half should do the trick. Now that my dough has doubled, I can clearly see the growth thanks to the Sharpie marker I used to mark it at the start of the rest. It's time to clean my counter with a food-safe cleaner, making sure I have a spotless surface for shaping my dough. A clean surface not only keeps things sanitary, but also makes handling the dough so much easier. I've dusted my counter with flour and rolled my rolling pin over it to pick up some flour to keep the dough from sticking. Carefully lift the dough out of the bowl, handling it gently, and place it on your floured surface, ready for rolling. Next, I roll out the dough into a nice 12 by 18 inch rectangle. Grab your room temperature butter and spread a nice even layer over the dough, coating it with buttery goodness. Next, sprinkle your cinnamon sugar mix evenly over the dough, all the way to the edges. Don't hold back. The mix is 1 cup brown sugar, 2 tablespoons ground cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon cornstarch. You might be wondering about the cornstarch. Well, it helps keep the filling from leaking too much by thickening it into a stable paste that holds its shape while baking. Bonus, it also keeps the filling soft and tender so it doesn't dry out. Now for the fun part. Roll the dough tightly from the long side to form a log. Think of it like rolling an extra long burrito and pinch the seams closed so that sweet filling stays put. Next, it's time to cut the rolls. Use a piece of sewing thread or unflavored dental floss works perfectly too to slice through the log. Trim off the ends so your rolls are evenly shaped. This recipe makes 6 jumbo rolls or 12 standard ones, your choice. For jumbo rolls, slice the log into 6 thick pieces about 3 inches each, nice and hefty, or go for 12 standard rolls at about 1.5 inches thick, like I'm doing here. I like to grab a ruler to keep the spacing nice and even. I place a sheet of parchment paper on my sheet pan so I can place the rolls cut side up on the baking sheet, leaving about 1 inch of space between each so that they have room to puff up while baking. Using thread instead of a knife helps cut the dough cleanly without crushing it. But if you prefer, a sharp cheese knife works great too. The key is to handle each roll gently so it stays nice and fluffy without getting flattened. I find using a piece of thread so satisfying to cut through the dough. There's just something about it. I mean, look at how easy this technique is. I simply slide the thread underneath the dough, cross the ends over the top, and then pull in opposite directions. The cut is clean, effortless, and totally perfect every time. Look at that gorgeous little roll. Now they're ready for their second proof, but this one's a quick nap, just about 30 minutes. Quick side note, if you want to bake these fresh in the morning for the holidays as an example, this is the perfect time to pause and freeze them. That's before the second rise. So once your rolls are shaped but not yet puffed up. For further freezing instructions, check out the full recipe in the description below for all the details. Go ahead and cover the rolls with plastic wrap and then drape a kitchen towel over the top. Find a warm, cozy spot in your kitchen and let them rest while they puff up a little more. They're puffed and beautiful and are looking so ready for the oven. And look, even the cute scrap pieces are ready to bake. Bake them for 30 to 40 minutes until they're golden brown and an instant read thermometer reads 186 Fahrenheit or 86 degrees Celsius in the center. If you notice the tops browning a little too quickly, just tent them loosely with foil to keep that perfect golden color. Around the 30-minute mark, grab your thermometer and check the internal temperature. It should read at least 186 degrees Fahrenheit. These beauties are more than ready to come out of the oven. Take a second to admire that gorgeous golden color, and the smell is absolutely heavenly. Just look at this. So golden, fluffy, and downright yummy. Carefully lift these beauties off the baking sheet and transfer them to a cooling rack. Be gentle. Remember, they're soft, fluffy, and fresh from the oven. Let them hang out there for a bit to cool before we slather on that dreamy buttercream. While our cinnamon rolls are cooling, let's whip up the cream cheese buttercream. To a bowl, start with measuring out 240 grams of powdered sugar. That's about 2 cups if you don't have a kitchen scale handy. Next, into another bowl, using a hand mixer, or I like to use my KitchenAid, toss in a block of softened cream cheese, which is about 8 ounces or 225 grams, and a stick of softened salted butter, which is 8 tablespoons or 113 grams. Attach your KitchenAid paddle and beat it all together until it's light and fluffy, on medium speed for about 4 to 5 minutes. Then set the speed to low and add the powdered sugar 1 spoonful at a time, letting it blend in gradually. Next, add 2 teaspoons of vanilla and beat it for a few more minutes until everything is silky smooth. And just look at that, perfectly silky smooth. This frosting is rich, creamy, and melts right into those soft, fluffy rolls. Honestly, they're perfect for company. Just picture bringing out a warm tray of these on a holiday morning. Be sure to check out my recipe for tips on freezing them ahead so you can bake them fresh right in time for breakfast. Find the recipe in the description below.
Didn't I tell you these cinnamon rolls are pure heaven on earth? I hope you enjoy them and make them soon. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, share with a friend, and subscribe for more great recipes. Thanks so much. See you in the next video. Bye now.